what's the lowest you've ever felt at a game?
Probably after the first playoff semi-final that we lost against Sheffield United away. So that's Bramall Lane against Sheffield United, who I don't particularly like, and we lost in extra time, so didn't get the chance to go to the playoff final, and it would have been at the Millennium Stadium, not Wembley. So that was just gutting, because then we had to get back on I went on supporters bus, so we had to wait in the ground. Obviously you just want to go home. We had to wait on the bus. One of their fans tried to board by the fire exit at the back, and they were shaking the bus and stuff, and you just thought, oh, I hate this. I mean, it was great that they lost that final 3-0, but that was probably one of the best days, as a non-Forest
pure
fan.
spite.
Pure spite. I actually bought a copy of the Sheffield Star after they'd lost that playoff final and kept it for a short while. There was just a picture of a fan crying on the front page, and a big pull-out, blow by blow of the game. And to be honest, that was just a little bit of a cathartic moment.
That's football.
Spiteful and vindictive, but that's football. But so that's probably the lowest. Although, to be fair with Forest, obviously that's not the only playoff disaster. When we lost to Blackpool and when we lost to Yeovil as well. And to be honest, you just get those moments in those playoff games where you just sink and just everything falls apart. And I think it was after the Blackpool one, where I don't think I spoke to anybody for a good couple of hours. I just didn't really want to say anything to anybody, and I kind of with people in the car, and you just walk back to the car, and there's that kind of understanding of not now. I don't care what it is you want to say. I think
not interested.
No, I'm not. Unless you're about to have a heart attack, I don't want to talk to you.
Even then.
And even then,
better be a good one.
Yeah, but even then,
none of these little ones.
Here's a phone, ring for help, sort of thing. I'm not. Yeah, just.
So what's the best that you've ever felt after a football match then?
I mean, it's weird. Probably, we beat Derby 5-2 at home when Billy Davis was manager, and that was incredible, because actually we'd smashed Derby, we played really well, and we were really on the up, and you started to feel like maybe the good times are coming back. But maybe actually we've got the makings of something here. So there were times around that period where you just felt, wow, we've got a team here, we're playing really good football.
When's this? What year is it?
So this would have been 2009, maybe 2008, 9, and you that would have been good. I saw us win the Zenith Data Systems Cup final,
wow.
Unforgettable, in 1992. We lost the League Cup about a month later, but never mind. So that was obviously fun, winning at Wembley, but I was probably too young to really take that in, because it was a very minor cup, a very good game, a very minor cup, and actually, like we are the last winners of that, so we're still the holders. So I'd still refer to us as the cup holders of a Mickey Mouse Cup that nobody's ever heard of, but still.
Well,
you take every victory you can.
Well, exactly. Look at us last season with the Checker Trade Trophy.
Yeah.
We'll be dining out on that for years, I should think. But
I mean, it's weird because we got promoted from League One to the Championship, and just felt oddly numb by the whole experience. I think partly because we'd crept up unannounced and just about clawed second on the last day of the season, and also just because there was just a sense of, we should have done this last season anyway or something. And I think within an hour or so I was kind of walking around in Asda, and it never happened, and it was just a bit like, I think we got promoted today, I should feel a bit better, but I just didn't. That didn't move me as much as it should.
Football's a strange thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you mentioned, tell me about a team and a player that you hate, and the pettier the reason, the better.
Pettier the reason.
Yeah, just something somebody did in 2008 that really ground your gears.
Well, the classic one for Forest fans, and the weird thing, obviously, this is before my time going to a game, but it just you see the footage and it just winds you up. John Aldridge, because Brian Law scored an own goal against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and Aldridge leant down and gave him the pat on the head as if to say, nice one, son. And I just think, what an absolute clown. And actually there are Forest fans who regularly tweet John Aldridge with that picture and probably some expletives, and it became a game for a while of who can get blocked by John Aldridge. I mean, I'd never bothered with it, because I don't think I'd keep control in the words that would surround the message, but it just, what an idiot, what an absolute idiot. Trying to think of other players who I don't particularly like. Jake Buxton, obviously, but he played for Derby. He was just an absolute thug. Obviously, mentioned Kevin Muscat. Paul Ince, Can't stand him. I just think he's just such a big mouth idiot, and he was in that Wolves team when we had some pretty nasty games with Wolves, and he was probably the ringleader of
The governor.
Yeah, he was the self-styled governor. I mean, what an idiot. But he's also given birth to an idiot of a son. But he was in that Wolves side, and they were kind of a streetwise championship outfit with the likes of Paul Ince and sort of Alex Ray and a few of those type players. And we were the kind of young, naive, Paul Hart kids from the academy team, and it just kind of felt very much kind of good guys versus bad guys, and we were naive, and they'd pull our pants down, and that was that. We'd learned the lesson, but so I didn't like him. Team, I mean, I don't hate them, but Walsall we just always lose to them, so I hate playing them. There's nothing necessarily wrong with. Well, maybe there is. I don't know, but it's just dreadful.
I've been to Walsall once. 4-0 defeat. April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day is probably telling, isn't it? Well, I went on a Saturday, and it was a Sunday tea time, and it was televised by ITV Digital. So I'm not saying that's linked to their demise, but quite who wanted to watch Walsall Forest on a Sunday tea time, live and exclusive with Robbie Earle and Matt Smith. I have no idea.
Tactics truck.
Yeah.
You mentioned it briefly. What are your thoughts on Twitter with regards to football?
Do you know what? I mean, I use it a lot, so I'd be a hypocrite to say it's bad, wholly bad. But it does make me cringe a lot, and it makes me cringe a lot because footballers are on there, and people are always atting footballers, either asking for a retweet for something, but normally it's to tell them where they've gone wrong in the game, despite the fact they couldn't, pass water. And managers are on there now as well, and there's people tweeting Ita Karanka saying, here's the back four you should pick, and I'm just thinking, it's embarrassing.
You'd hope that he just ignores it completely.
You would hope. I mean, it's been said, Mark Warburton said when he was Forest manager that the players were affected by it. They see what's on Twitter, not even necessarily directly atted at them, but on the hashtag and that kind of thing. Quite why you would look, I don't know. But equally, it's human instinct, isn't it? Yeah. You know people are going to be talking about it.
Want to...
You want to see who's saying what. And so the players are affected by it, which is worrying, because Twitter is kind of just knee-jerk reactions amplified, and it worries me that people listen to it too much. I think Warburton's comments came because he was talking after people had asked him, saying, there's been criticism of you on Twitter. Now at that time I remember thinking, there's been a few tweets, but the crowd was supportive in the ground. There was no chants or no booing or anything like that. There was a few people on Twitter whose sanity is questionable, who'd said some bad things, and there we were reacting to it. But once you start reacting to it, you make it real, don't you? And then there's all those clickbait sites who do 10 angry Forest fans as comments about the signing of X, and then that becomes a story, and then there's a story to react to, and then the players do get to hear about it. So I think too much credence is given to it. Also, we had a chairman who was on there and wanted adulation from it, and at the start it was fine because obviously people did give him adulation. He used to announce signings on Twitter himself from his own personal account before it came out from the official website.
Dara does it at Posh,
Villa, the guy there, does it. Now, so that draws attention to him on Twitter, but then obviously when we lose, everybody's on there, well not everybody, but lots of people are on there giving him abuse, and I think it's difficult to say, I don't want you to abuse me on Twitter, when in the week before you're saying, I want you to notice me on Twitter. And I think that's a problem that Fawaz had when he was chairman, that he became swayed by Twitter criticism. He got annoyed at some of the more terse abuse, which is unfair, really. I mean, nobody, the guy was an idiot, but he didn't deserve, expletives and probably worse. But also, he kind of, I fear that he listened to the fans on Twitter. So I think this is the problem, is that because he was looking on Twitter, and if on a Saturday after a game you look on Twitter and you see 100 tweets saying the manager's got to go, you think, crikey, a lot of people want the manager out, maybe it's time for me to act. But if you think about how many 100 people would look if you put them in the City ground, there's nobody.
Not even a stand,
so
not even a block.
No, so I think he made the mistake of jumping too early to sack people because some people on Twitter had started to turn against them. There are people on Twitter who want most managers out before they've even started. So, I don't think we can really judge that. But it's a worry that people. It's an avenue to listen, and it's not. It's like, obviously we worked in journalism, and obviously it'd be like reporting that with the same gravitas as reporting a YouGov poll that has
yeah.
5,000 adults.
Or basing everything on your letters page. Always.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think some editors probably do.
Yeah.
But seeing all 3 people are upset with the bypass being built, maybe we should splash on that, as opposed to thinking, but we've got 15,000 people buying the paper. How many of them actually care? Or do people think it's a good idea? It's difficult, isn't it?
Okay. Tell us something about your team that a non-supporter wouldn't know.
There are some. Forest is one of those clubs where there are some boring things, I suppose. Like, I think we're the first club to have worn shin pads, the first club to have played in a game with a referee's whistle, the first, I think, with goalposts.
Wow. Was that all one game?
I don't know. It was a great game, wasn't it? Yeah, we just had to innovate.
Some weird.
So those things are boring that people would throw up as stats. I guess for a more modern kind of thing, probably most people aren't aware that we were within a whisker of signing Gareth Bale on loan. So this was the time when he couldn't get in the Spurs side. I don't know if you remember, there was that time when every time he played a game for him, they lost, and he was seen as a bit of a joke. Benoit Asuakotu was their left back, and Billy Davis had arranged for us to sign Gareth Bale on loan. And just before it went through, as legend has it, I mean, I presume this is right, why you'd make it up, I don't know. Akotu got injured, and so Redknapp pulled the plug on the deal, and we never got him. Now, frankly, we'd have ruined him, because we'd have put him at left back, and he'd have shanked one clearance out.
Rotted away.
It'd have rotted.
Rotherham or
It'd
wherever.
have been, yeah, exactly, a bag carrier for Joel Lynch or something, I don't know.